if you are avoiding something, if you are consciously passing by your boss's office and ignoring a conversation
Yes.
or ignoring interaction, that says to me there's unfinished business or something you're avoiding. You don't want the confrontation. And it's not about the thing, it's about what that thing's going to bring.
Correct.
And that thing that it's going to bring, yes, it'll be uncomfortable. But how long are we going to keep it there? How long till the boss goes to your office and goes, "Hey, buddy,
Mm-hmm.
haven't heard from you in a week."
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with trauma. And it's the
Good.
same thing with any wound. How long until it knocks on your door and says, "Hey, how long are you going to like ignore the fact that you're not in a real relationship and you're being, your values are being compromised and you feel hurt all the time and you do all this just so that you can have a good Saturday a week."
Mm, that's powerful.
Who hasn't been there?
That's it. And what has it cost you by not addressing it? What has it cost
It's
you?
it chips away at the self.
Absolutely. And the question that always gets me is, when were you going to change it? Once you come to the realization that it's there, what has
Mm-hmm.
it cost you? And then the
Mm-hmm.
next one is because you become aware of your own power.
Mm-hmm.
Only you can change it, right? Now you can have
Mm-hmm.
support of other people, such as yourself, to help you navigate those conversations and do that work safely in an
Mm-hmm.
environment where you feel comfortable, and then also utilizing skills and tools that they've developed along the way. But at the end of the day, the authority and the power and the answer is you.
And it sounds, well, listen, it sounds simple when you're looking at it from a logical place, right? Like
Hmm.
you are no longer sitting in that feeling because you're post, the healing.
I'll say this though. I'll say for
Mm-hmm.
healing, what I'm learning about healing is that it's never done.
No,
It's ongoing. So
but
for
there's a
me, there's
capacity. Mm-hmm.
correct. There's been levels and layers that it's almost like forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, forgiveness is healing, right? Right. And so for me, what I realized, there are levels or layers to the onion. And if I pull off the top layer and I keep going, the moment that I feel like, hey, everything is good, I can dust it off and go, there's still another layer to go, right?
And then
I have
when you're done with that onion, there's another onion. By the way, there's a whole pack of them.
exactly. So it's always, for me, it's always a healing journey, developing a practice of self forgiveness, right? Forgiveness, continuing every day, making it part as a constant attitude of
Mm-hmm.
forgiving. And to your point, it's not simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of energies and things that are tied into it. In many respects, our own identity becomes
Mm-hmm.
a part of that story, a part of that trauma. So we ask ourselves the question, who are we outside of that story,
Right.
outside
And
of that
I
identity?
and I was going to add into that is I'll tell you why so what are we doing to change it, right? That's the
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
And that is again a very black and white question,
Hmm.
but I'll tell you what the issue is. The issue is that in order to create change, we have to admit to loss.
Mm,
There's gains and there's losses.
mm,
So especially, let's say even in relationships, that's a very common topic.
mhm,
You have to grieve, whether it's a
mhm,
part of you, a part of the relationship, whatever it is, it's just going to be a loss. There's not going to be change without loss. There's also gain. So you're going to have
mm,
gains and losses when you change because you're changing hopefully for the better.
mhm,
But even changing for the better will take a level of effort where you have to not forget, let go of.
mm.
You have to
Ye-
release
Yeah.
that old part of you.
Come on now.
And the old part of you is either holding on to that relationship, is holding on to that thing, place, person, thing, whatever it is.
Mhm,
So we don't want that. We don't want change because we don't want to lose. Because if we lose something, although we're
mhm,
still gaining, see,
mhm.
our focus needs to be on the gain, but it often isn't. It's often on the loss. It's on the loss and what we have to embrace,
Mhm.
which is the unknown.
Mm.
We have to
That
go to another level. We got to level up
that part.
and we want it, right? In our dreams and our visions, we want to level up.
Mhm,
But what we have to do to level up is leave this level behind.
mhm,
And it's that loss, that grief, that is an issue for a lot of people.
mhm,
And if only they understood that it's just that step and the next step to create a bigger gap between this one that wasn't helping you
That's
and
right.
the one that is. And the version of you that's over here is a much more healed,
Correct.
evolved. It's even a version of you. In my case, let's say that I can help more people in many different ways because I chose to leave here and go through the pain.
Yes.
Human beings don't want pain. We're built for comfort. Like our body will take us back to the comfort zone. But it's been studied. We know that without pain, there's no growth. I mean, we have growing pains when we're growing up.
Right.
And there's no pain. You don't go to the gym without pain. In order for that muscle to grow, to tighten. You ain't got to be, I'm sure there's a bunch of diets out there and say, don't starve. Okay, listen, we're all going to go a little hungry if we're going to lose weight because we have to lower the calorie intake, burn more than you intake. So there's a, subtraction problem there. And then we, adjust.
That's right.
To a new lifestyle so that we can gain this new physique or whatever. So when you have to get a new physique emotionally, there needs to be emotional intelligence. There has to be a capacity built. You're not going to get a higher weight class, right? You're not going to get into not weight class. I'm saying that you're not going to get a higher weight if you didn't build a capacity for lifting the smaller weight.
That's right.
So emotionally, if we're not allowing ourselves to feel the pain of the growth, the loss, everything, we're not going to gain a capacity for pain, which means we can't deal with it. I can't bench 100 if I didn't start at 50 or 20. But I had to endure I had to go through what it takes to get to the 100.